Hello, from wherever in the world you're watching. Welcome to the Great British Mickey Waffle. I'm Becca, and today I need you to forget about that lightning lane for the Rise of the Resistance, and don't worry about the 7 a.m. wake-up call to get that virtual queue of Guardians of the Galaxy. Sit back, relax, and while we take a look at some of the more underrated attractions at Walt Disney World. So, joining me tonight are Ben.
Hello.
Peter.
Hello. I noticed you put tag somebody, tag a friend in the comments. That took me right back to school, running around the playground.
Oh, playing tag.
Okay.
Yeah.
Different kind of tag.
Yeah. You're it. Yep.
We've got Jill.
Hey.
We've got John, who I can tell is bursting to say something.
I was just going to say, there we are then, Peter. That's it. It's just like taking you right back to the 70s from the very outset, isn't it? Like,
Indeed, yes.
1970s or 1870s?
Yeah,
Oh,
I used to like.
And last but not least, we've got Claire.
Hey, Becca. I'm just glad you didn't say British Bulldog because that's a whole other thing.
The whole other thing, yeah.
Oh, it's
I think some movement needs to happen on the
Band,
screen.
the band playground
game.
game.
I used to work for. There we go. Back in my normal
That's
place.
better.
I used to work with somebody who was, and his biggest thing was, and he was. I was but a minion at the day, and as a head teacher, that was it. It's banned, and that was all he came out with. It was just any time the word British Bulldog was made, it's banned, and it was just like, yeah, get a grip, son. Yeah, it was.
We'll have to somehow explain to our American friends another way in the Waffler's Arms or something what British Bulldog was.
Was. Yeah.
Do you remember when we talked about having the Here with the Magic Games and we thought we'd have like a British American thing?
Yeah.
Right, the Olympics, and we talked about this summer. John and I were probably going to engage in some sort of cornhole competition. Just saying, if anyone's in Orlando in August, maybe we should branch out and have British Bulldog, and all those things.
In this day and age, you'd probably get arrested for it, Claire. That's a problem.
I'm without a doubt.
I'm just imagining that with all of these games, though, you need someone with a high-vis jacket and a clipboard just saying, is this safe? Doing a risk assessment.
Right, the risk assessment.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's banned.
Listen, you've got to have glasses to play conkers these days. So.
That's all right. I wear glasses anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what, Becca? Sorry, I know you're about to start talking. I am just looking at the chat, and so many friends have joined us tonight, and I think it's because the time zone.
Yes,
we're sort of in a bit of an abyss in terms of time zone thing going on because you're
in a 4-hour gap, isn't it?
Right, it's 4 hours now because our friends in America, their daylight savings obviously happens a few weeks earlier than us. So we're at the same time. It's you that's different, but it means that you can join us, which is great. So I see Karen and Lisa and Mark and all the friends. Mark Jones is here. I'm just so excited to see
Many we haven't been able to say hi to in a while.
And Carrie's here, which is amazing. We love you, Carrie. And yes, please make some cornhole.
Yes.
We need to make sure that this happens on a Wednesday afternoon because this needs to be a live event.
Watch it.
Oh, can you imagine how dull that would be for everyone?
Yes. Carrie can be our adjudicator with all the rules, and me and Ben will.
Do you know who would be a brilliant commentator? Be Marcus Val. I was going to say Marcus would be brilliant at commentating on it. If he joins the chat, we can, that would be hysterical.
Oh, goodness. Thank you, Heather.
Oh.
That's really. It's always. I always
1:34.
really like it when Heather's in the chat. We get a reminder of what the California time is as
I
well.
know, it's
Yeah.
brilliant.
And I am so aware when I put the post in the Waffler's Arms, I have no idea. Each and every week, I know what time is Eastern, but
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
no idea what the time is on
And
the
don't
West
start
Coast.
talking Central, because the Central Mountain
No,
Time. And
no,
I
oh,
think
no,
you add
no.
an extra 3 hours onto it. 'Cause normally it's 5.
I need it in
Florida and
pictures.
3.
I'm not going there.
I think
As a
Americans are
recipe
very good at
disaster.
working it out for themselves.
Yes, we don't.
Yes.
They know.
Yeah,
They
know,
it doesn't matter
Yeah.
if we don't know.
Yeah.
They're here.
And
That's
also,
what matters.
and also, if they miss it, it's there on the replay.
It
It
is.
is.
So,
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Talking of, well, almost replays, before we start tonight's show, if you haven't done so already, have a listen to our mid-month podcasts where we talk to Crystal and Matt from Married to a Disney Addict.
Yeah.
And we talk about some of the historic attractions and their replacements, and it's a great laugh, a great chat.
I
And
still
there
haven't
might be
forgiven you, Becca.
a
I have not forgiven you.
Oh.
For anyone who
Yeah,
hasn't
go and
listened
listen to
to
it.
it,
yeah.
do have a listen, because there's a huge amount of Disney history in there, which we all sort of geeked out on a little bit. And then Becca, like, we're talking about, is the new thing better than the old thing, basically?
Yeah.
And Becca throws in, and I'm not going to tell you which way this went, baseline tap house and writer's stop. Just saying. That's,
Yeah.
you know, how could you do that to us, Becca?
because I'm mean and evil.
Well, and then what was it? We had, was it Illuminations, Luminous,
Yeah.
Harmonious, and
Yeah.
then Wishes and Happily Ever After.
Yeah.
It was-
Spoil it all.
No,
and
because we
that's
haven't
why
told
it
it.
went.
It
Maelstrom.
actually was such a brilliant chat, and I think certainly for us, being able to sort of widen our community and across to their community was such a really good opportunity.
Great fun.
Yeah.
And actually, it was such good fun. We could have gone for hours more.
Yeah.
And actually, I think we're on that bit where we probably will get them back in the future, if only to answer all the questions that we didn't
Finish the
get
conversation. Yeah, right.
get round to.
Yeah.
It was good fun.
It was great fun. Now, a few weeks back, we did look at some underrated attractions at Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom. And if you did miss that, go and watch it after the show. It's the 6th of March 2024 show. So we thought today we would start at Hollywood Studios before heading over to Epcot. So where shall we start?
Which is a good idea, Becca, because basically we know fine well that I think from the first show that we did, we knew that if we were going to talk Epcot, we were going to go very long.
Let's
So-
do
and so
Hollywood
we-
Studios.
We contained ourselves. So
Yeah.
we're going to start the studios. And can I put it on the table to begin with, right? Because I've been such an advocate. And going back to the mid-month show, we talk about the right to stop. But actually, Baseline Tap House is the most amazing place to just soak away a little bit of time and watch the world pass you by.
Yeah.
And it's a really underrated place because everyone's far too busy going to the Star Wars bit, or they're racing around the other way to Toy Story Land. And actually, that little outdoor bit, you actually begin to see quite a lot of quite amazing things. It never disappoints. That's all I'm going to say. You end up watching families that are in different park mode sort of stylish.
Yep.
That's all I'm going to say, because it's such good fun.
They have one of the best pretzels there from all Disney World property.
They do, yeah.
It's incredible. The beer cheese
Yeah.
sauce.
We had it.
Oh, I'm hungry now.
Yeah.
You're always
Well,
hungry
the
when we do
cheese-
the
I
show.
know.
though.
But that's because we've done a John and Claire and not had any dinner.
True.
Oh well.
The beer cheese sauce tastes like is pretty much Welsh rarebit.
Yeah, it's the same idea.
Same idea,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's cheese, it's beer, it's mustard. Yeah,
It's pretty much Welsh rarebit.
pretty much. Yeah,
Cheese on
we
toast.
had.
Cheese.
Yeah.
He's on toast.
Oh, no, Welsh rarebit is far more than cheese on toast.
Posh cheese on toast.
If you weren't on the naughty
Sounds like-
step already,
Sounds
John,
like
exactly,
I
Peter.
brought my
I'm
wooden
just
spoon with me tonight.
nice little rugby analogy there, Claire.
Yeah.
As well. I like
Yep.
Yeah, didn't Wales do well?
I'm saying nothing. I'm saying nothing.
my grandfather was Irish, so I'm celebrating.
No,
Yeah.
that doesn't count.
Okay.
They
That's
wasn't
a stretch.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm celebrating on. I always celebrate St. Patrick's Day anyway. So.
No, I bet
Sure.
some of our friends in the chat celebrated St. Patrick's Day, and I reckon that some of them might still be recovering.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say
Is it
still
really
in
bad
Raglan
that I
Road.
don't actually remember when
Yeah.
St. Patrick's Day was?
Where's Kelly when you need her?
Yeah.
Some of my friends are trying to bring back on St. Patrick's Day. What's her name? The other saint.
Yes, it's also apparently St. Gertrude's Day, the patron saint of cats. So
I
there
don't
you
think
go.
that-
There's
I
your,
don't think that'll
there's your
happen.
fascinating fact for the day.
I think Guinness will have
Guinness
have
will
a
win.
way with that.
No.
There's no chance.
No.
No. Can I
Whiskers
also
might
just
sponsor it.
make mention as well? We've got Timothy Rainwaters, who's in Hollywood Studios.
Yes.
We've
Yes.
got Mark Sheffield that's at Walt Disney World as well.
Yeah.
Are we now at the time where we're now getting people going back into the parks after that run up to Easter bit, where we're going to find people just making us jealous every week?
Yeah.
Getting the chance.
Yes.
So
I
Mark
know,
Jones is
I-
it? Mark
It's
Jones
a
will be there
break
next
element,
week, I
isn't it?
think. Is it
Oh,
next week you're
wonderful.
there, Mark? I know you're
Yeah.
driving, so you know you may not be able to.
Yeah.
Please don't type. If you're driving,
Don't
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 text us, please.
text.
We want it to be okay. I'm sure the
Yeah.
conversation I had with Mark was he's there next week. So you know it is getting into that groove. And Robin, is she
It is,
there
yeah.
now or no? It's just a couple of weeks till she goes.
Yeah.
Doesn't
I
waste
think it's
any
on the
time,
calendar.
does it?
It'll be easy to highlight when Robin's not in Walt Disney World.
I know. I think that's what we'll have to do. The reverse, the
No.
negative, the negative
Yeah.
calendar.
Robin is very busy at the moment, being my personal consultant about the Disney Fantasy because we're about to book a cruise.
wow.
So, yes.
Yeah. Or
She's giving me lots of good
Fantasy.
advice. Yes.
Oh, we can't wait. We were just talking to Karen from Portwood Travel earlier today about sorting some more stuff out for our cruise on the Fantasy later in the year.
Yay.
So
Really?
excited.
Yay.
Yeah. And also
Yeah.
on the back of the news that Disney announced, was it the Disney Destiny new cruise?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that was
Okay, but back to Hollywood Studios.
I was honestly
Baseline
going
Taphouse.
I was going to mention the fact that Karen and Neil had put in the Portwood Travel thing. There was a 10-day trip to Universal in November, and I think, as I mentioned, the fact it was only £1,200 for 10 days, staying
amazing.
at the top end there. Yeah, because my
That's a
wife
steal.
can't. She can't get the time off work at that particular
Solo
Oh.
trip.
I was thinking I had the divorce papers were nearly on the way. I could sense the phone was in the hand, just ready to throw at me. And it was
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
Oh, I just seen Mark Sheffield saying that the resort capacity jumps up on Sunday. I saw some pictures of Epcot last Saturday and some videos. Oh my goodness. I can't, there is not a, I love Walt Disney World. Epcot is my favorite park, but there is not enough money in the world for me to go to Epcot during spring break on a Saturday afternoon. and
No.
evening.
Claire, when you
no.
shared that video, I thought it was in slow motion.
I know.
No, everyone had to walk slowly because there were so many people.
I just like,
really? There's
what?
no fun in that.
It was obscene. No, just no.
No.
Anyway,
Back to
Hollywood
baseline.
Studios.
Sorry, Becca, carry on.
Studios.
We're just having a chat amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
We're still in baseline Tap House.
One of
Yeah.
my favourite things, or two of my favourite things that I think are underrated at Hollywood Studios are what are they called? The Disney Movie Magic and Wonderful World of Animation evening shows on the Chinese Theatre.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Not
Yeah.
seen
They-
those.
Then
No.
A lot of people haven't, and a lot of people don't go and see them because everyone goes to Fantasmic. So it's
Yeah.
usually really quiet. You can usually get an absolutely brilliant view. And it just goes through some of the history of animated movies and Disney's live action movies. So there's one
Right,
for
okay.
animation, one for live action. Usually about 10 minutes each.
what I love is that there are clips from Walt Disney Presents,
Right.
and there's a lot of narration from Walt himself that's actually
Right.
included
Oh,
in
cool.
that.
Yeah.
The only downside I think of that show is that during the summer months, it's not dark enough for when the park closes to
Yeah.
show it. So they'll just usually run Fantasmic. When we were out there last June, it wasn't operating because of that. But when we were there for the after hours event, they showed it about 11 p.m.
Right.
Okay. I saw them last year when I was over there, and we were waiting for Jollywood Nights to start, and they had them on the. We were in the queue for Phineas and Ferb around by Gertie, so we could actually see quite well, and they were fun.
Yeah.
The
Okay,
music's brilliant, and you sort of find yourself singing along a little bit.
Yeah.
And you quite a lot of audio in terms of chat and clips. It's good.
And some of the previous incarnations of that as well, even thinking back to when they did the Frozen Summer, and they did the projection show after that, after the removal of that big blue hat that was in the middle.
Now we can see the theatre.
We can, but the previous incarnations of it were actually, they worked so well that if you went to watch them, you could actually get from there to the second show in the Fantasmic if you just knew the little shortcut round the back into Fantasmic, and it was really good because you could actually you could do the best of both, and also the second show in the Fantasmic was always the quiet one, so you could always manage both.
Lisa, I feel like you've not watched the same show as us.
Oh, you can't. You can't.
Oh,
People are allowed their own opinion.
Yeah,
that is true.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fewer
Hey,
people.
you-
in front of me.
More seats for
It
me.
is a good time to go and ride the ride, to be fair, because everybody's
Yep.
in fantastic.
Lisa, go and watch it with Zach Brown, and he'll take you to the special seating.
Splash
You
zone.
look it.
The
Bring
splash
the
zone.
poncho.
Oh, it's
No,
amazing.
no
Last time we
ponchos.
did it was
The
definitely
front
Black Zone.
row.
Yeah.
Mm.
Best
I've never
seats
sat that close. I'll be
No.
honest.
In
It's a
view
long
of
way
that-
down, though.
Mm.
Yeah, but in
That's
view of
why
that,
I'm
It
gonna
does
set that
all
far
the way
down.
down.
Mm.
does
It is
Fantasmic then count as an underrated attraction?
I don't
No,
Or is it-
everyone
I don't
loves
think
it.
so, no.
So,
No.
or most
Apart from
people
Lisa.
love it. I should say.
Certainly, everybody knows it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
Did
else
you
is
have a
underrated, Becca?
No.
Now, there's one that I don't think is underrated, but I know a lot of people do love it. Muppet Vision 3D.
That was what I.
Yeah,
That would have been my choice. Yeah.
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 I
Make
don't
sure
like
you
it.
look under the mat
under the
as you walk
It
in.
gives me a
It's
headache.
brilliant.
Yeah, I
Oh,
got Millie
no.
to do that this time, and she
Yeah.
was like,
Under the mat. The keys under the mat. It's just
The
brilliant.
3D
I love it.
on is so old. It needs
Yeah, yeah.
updating.
It does. It needs a spring clean for sure. Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, it is superb.
I remember the first time we did it, Jill, we sat down in the theatre and Jill said, it's just like being in the theatre, but with more leg room. And if you've been in any West End theatres or any Broadway theatres, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
I
I like
ju-
the Muppets.
I ju- I just think-
don't like Muppet Vision 3D. There's just something
Oh, yeah.
about it. Yeah,
I love
not
it.
a fan.
Oh, I like
Stop.
it. Yes, great.
Statler and Waldorf. Statler and Waldorf, just even for
Yeah.
just that one line with
Yeah.
that lady over there with the goofy glasses. Oh, sorry, lady. It's just like, I just think it's absolutely brilliant.
I'm with you, but I'm not a fan. It is, if I'm going to choose to skip something in Hollywood Studios, it is going to be Muppet 3D, Muppet Vision 3D. There's something I find it a bit creepy about what's his name? Waldo? No.
Waldo.
Oh,
Yeah.
Waldo.
I can't. I actually tend to try and use it for a nap stop. Because when you've got 3D glasses on, no one can tell if your eyes are open.
There you go.
It's not something that I.
Is it really bad that I prefer the pre-show to the actual show?
So that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
The best bit is all the puns that are on the crates and stuff in
Yeah.
the pre-show area.
And
They're brilliant. I
And
love
the film
Yeah.
as they're racing from one TV right the way across the room.
When
Very,
the
very
soldiers come
clever.
marching across and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it's like they're introducing like Mickey Mouse and it's Rizzo the rat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no,
Yeah.
I'm with you, Mark Jones. It is a napping spot.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a napping place. A napping place. Sorry.
Wrong park.
Oh, are we allowed to still sing that? We could get into trouble for that. I get into trouble for having a roundabout.
Only in Tokyo.
It's already.
Yeah.
It's still in Tokyo. You'll be fine.
So there you go.
That's fine.
But
That's
yes,
fine.
I think Waldo is. Yeah, Waldo is a bit of his time, and I think, if they'd been making the show and later, would they have made it with Figment instead? No,
Not in
there you
Hollywood
go.
Studios.
Not in Hollywood Studios.
No.
Well, why not? It's the same character, basically.
What about underrated attractions? Indiana Jones stunt show.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, I know.
Epic stunt show at that.
That show.
It's been
Is
open
that
for an awful long time.
It has been open forever. I mean, I remember
Yeah.
going to it in the early 90s.
Yeah.
And I know it's changed slightly. The bloke in the Hawaiian shirt's not there in the front row anymore. But I remember, and I just think I hadn't been to it for years and years and years. And then last year or the year before, I think it was in sort of spring last year when we went, before we went on the Wish, and realised that Millie had never, ever seen the stunt show. So we went, and her face was just like, she was like wide-eyed, like, oh my goodness, this is like the most amazing thing. And like the fire and, you know, all of that stuff. She thought it was incredible, and she thought the stunt actors were hysterical. And you know, that's the humor of a 10-year-old girl at that point. And I think that's probably where it stops. But I do, you know, these are live cast members doing the work. They're doing their job. They're doing a great show multiple times a day. So I have to respect that, because they, you know, regardless of how many times they've done it, they've still got to deliver it every time. The bit with the whole the fake director and all of that stuff. It's quite cool if you sit by the tech booth in the middle, because they've literally just got big screens with a button that says press now. They're not having to do anything. That's quite fun. But I quite like it.
Yeah. I think it depends on two things, really. How indie does the opening scene, because sometimes they anticipate the spikes coming up just a bit too early.
It slides down the road.
Yeah. And the rock takes too long.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know Dwayne Johnson was in it.
Well, he did everything else. Why not?
No.
But no, last time we saw it, Indy was practically walking away from the rock.
No, we didn't. I've never seen it like that. I've always seen it bang the time.
Yeah.
So.
Is it one of those things though? I just see it in the chat here. Is a lot of people could miss it because they've seen it once. Is it a one and done, or is it one that you see once every 5 years or so? Because you've
not an every time for me.
I think it's one of those shows that you forget how good it is because you don't see it every time you go.
Yeah.
Because you only do it once every couple of years, you forget that actually it is a really good show.
Yeah.
So in that way, in there.
It's also not one you have to queue much for. The timing, it's
also one without air conditioning.
Yeah. In that sense, I would say it is underrated, though.
It absorbs so many crowds in the park as well, and I think that's always a good thing. If you want to go and try and do something else, and you know that it's just that one of those shows are on, you know that you might get a lower wait time.
Yeah.
Certainly from my experience of the show, I think there was a time around about 2015-16 where there was a huge rumor where basically it was about to get called purely from a cost cutting point of view, because certainly because of the amount of people who actually take part in the show. And from a Disney perspective, when you think about parades that have gone away in order to save money, this show itself and the actual show actually in Disney terms costs them an awful lot of money.
So
and it's frightening that's actually survived that sort of accountancy sort of line, isn't it?
I think you're right, and I think probably because it does absorb an awful lot of guests, that probably helps. It's a bit like Fantasmic, John, because we sat there, Zach and I sat there trying to work out how many cast members involved in Fantasmic in terms of not like the cast members seating and selling and all of that stuff.
The ones on the stage,
show
performers,
it is a huge number of people, and I think the indie stuff is similar. They're probably talking, by the time you've got your fake stunt crew and you've got your fake tech people, and it's probably upwards of 50 cast members. By the person who's pushing the airplane and all of that stuff, and the crew moving stuff backwards and forwards. It's a really, really expensive show to put on. And so I guess that, those, and a lot of them have done it for a very long time, so they will be being paid well. So it's an interesting one that I don't know what else they could put in that space, but I think if you've been once, you may choose not to do it very often.
Yeah.
Mm.
And it's a very big space, so
Yeah.
you would put more than one thing in that space. You would have 2 or 3 things in
Replace
that
it with
space.
something else. You could replace it with a Marvel stunt show.
Just change the show rather than knock it down and put new stuff in. Yeah,
I think if you're not aware of it, I think, and I know that the car park has changed, so it's not quite as apparent when the car park has when it has its original formation, and then the staff car park was basically ran the whole length of that stage area. It's huge, and actually, when you think of it, that area could be repurposed. I'm not suggesting it should be, but it could be repurposed for quite a lot of other things. And and like I said before, for it to evade the accountancy crew, I think it's done very, very well.
Yeah, it must be doing something right.
Yeah.
Okay. I think something that's very close to Indiana Jones is Frozen. Would we say that's underrated?
No.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people go in for a different reason. People go in it for a bit of air conditioning.
I think a lot of people go in there because they have children that like Frozen and come out.
Yeah.
What do people in the chat think? Have you been to the Frozen sing along?
I think it's a must do every time we go Hollywood.
What's your opinion?
I'm going to say it's better than Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, though.
Want to phone a friend?
And American Idol.
Yeah, what a waste of space both of them were. So
I didn't know it was Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah, before it was American Idol.
Yeah. Show me age again now.
We did the Frozen show for the first time in forever last time, and it's just so good. Even if you're not a major Frozen fan or you haven't got young children who really like it, go, because it's so funny. It really takes the Mickey out of so much, and all the little gags on the screens in the waiting area. It's just such fun.
That comment is right. It's pure happiness. It doesn't matter what mood you go into that show. That show has got something for everyone. There's so much comedy. There's so many lines that if you just hear people singing along, it's just fun.
My favourite thing is to look along the row and look for the grumpy dads who have clearly thought, why am I in here? And often
they've missed a trick. They need to have done a camera.
Yeah,
totally. But by the end of it, you turn around, let it go, and they're all singing along. They might not do it very often soon, but they are there.
Giving it loads. Yeah.
I love it so much. It's brilliant, and as you say, the actors are incredible. And I don't think I've ever seen it 100% the same more than twice, maybe. And there are some ad-lib lines, and sometimes they deliberately make each other giggle, and they
update it as well.
They do
kind of season on season, year on year.
I remember once
change the joke slightly to be more in line with what's happening either in the company or in the world.
There was a joke about something where they were talking about Wordle the other. It's just
and Hannah's just put in the chat, she's seen clips when Equity Ben was in it. So he was obviously a previous cast member who was one of the original Arendelle storytellers. And he actually co-wrote the show, in case people didn't know, which is why it's his sense of humor. And I've seen it. I saw it multiple times with him in it. And he's an outstanding actor, and he's still very, very active in the Orlando acting scene and on Instagram and all of his socials and stuff. He just doesn't work for Disney anymore, but his legacy, I think, has carried on in that particular show because he wrote it, and it's brilliant.
What else have we got, Becca?
I think we're going to need to talk about one of the last stage shows in Hollywood Studios, Beauty and the Beast live on the stage.
I don't know that it's underrated. I just don't think it's
good.
It's great.
It's not bad, but it's not the best thing ever.
I think the best thing they did the other year was when they removed it for the summer to put on that Pixar and
the Pixar Live. That was amazing. Ben, that was. I've got to say, and again, it was employee heavy. But that was such an amazing show to actually see the music from Up being played by an orchestra, and it was just like, when you sit there and you're thinking, this is purely Disney at its very, very best, and actually just using the characters just to allow the narrative of the storyline of the show to just sort of plod on. But the music was just totally at the center, front and center of that entire show. And I've got to say, we went about 2 or 3 times purely because we knew that it wouldn't return, because it was just one of those shows that was just, it was so special. It really was. It was quite a magical experience.
I think they need to bring that back and replace Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, I'm not knocking the cast, because they gave it their all. They really worked hard and they gave it their all. But the costumes need a refresh, at least the big heavy character costumes that mean that
Mrs. Potts.
Yeah, Mrs. Potts.
Bless her.
Move.
Yes.
You know, there's
It's the little feet running along underneath it, and it's it's an accident waiting to happen.
And when you think of all the creative things and ways that Disney has done the Lion King show in the different parks over the years, you could do something different with Beauty and the Beast. But I think no, scrap it and put something else in.
I think Pixar fits really well with Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
And just having something like that, that's something different. That's just when you think. But the music, I don't know anyone who can listen to Pixar music without getting emotional. Especially when you have that song from Up.
Yeah, it's the one that's going through my head at the moment.
Yeah.
But I think there are things they could replace Beauty and the Beast with that should make it, even like you say, the Tangled show from the cruise ships. That could be grown and put into there. But I saw Beauty
Flynn Rider, wanted man. Whoa.
Isn't he just? I saw Beauty and the Beast live on stage for the first time. It must have been one of my last solo trips, not the one in December, but probably the one before that. And I sat there, and within a few minutes, I thought, what on earth have I done? The most amusing thing for me was watching the cast member trying to get all the guests to slide to their left. And I was sat on the end of the row in the middle, so on the right, if you're looking at the stage on the right hand side of the theatre, and she was trying to get everyone to squish up to the left so that there was space for people coming in. And the cast member she was screaming and shouting, and there was a couple in the row in front of us who were just choosing not to. So everyone went, maybe they don't speak English. No, they were chatting to each other in English. And she was literally stood 2 foot away from them going, if you can see any space, move to your left. And people were like stepping over them to sit in the gap. No. And in the end, it was just the most painful thing. And I was laughing because she was laughing about how ridiculous this whole scenario was. That was the best thing about the whole afternoon in that show. It's I felt for her. She earned her money that day, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, now, okay, I do have another one that everyone is going to think is underrated, especially John.
Yep.
Walt Disney Presents. One Man's Dream.
Underrated.
It is.
Well,
loads of people don't even know it's there.
But we do, and that's what's important.
It's in the wrong part of the park. It needs to be at the front, and everyone needs to
You should have to go through it, and you can't go any further until you've watched the show.
So what you need to do is you need to put it just between security and tapping into the park.
Right? Yeah. You have to watch it
like a pre-show. I think that's it.
What about just on the continuous loop on the Chinese theatre?
I can't speak highly enough of this, and I know for long-time listeners, I'm a bit of a stuck record about it, because actually, it is Walt Disney, and if anybody ever goes to Walt Disney World and just doesn't get it, you just have to go and watch the show to actually see what was created from someone who wasn't frightened of working and grafting and trying to make things for himself, his family, a little bit better, bit by bit. and it did. It didn't happen. It didn't happen sort of magically. They went through some absolutely incredibly hard times, and I think that for me is it's an important message for anyone who, we're now in this era where a lot of people go to Walt Disney World and they feel, it's that entitlement where they think, oh, I should be doing this. I need to be front of the queue. I have to be this. Well, actually, go and watch this and see how it actually was created, because actually it's not about people like that. It's about that dream of making your family happy and about just losing yourself as an adult and becoming a child once again. And I think that for me is always something that will, I think I've said on one of the very early podcasts that we did, if you go to Walt Disney World and you get the Magical Express, and back in the day, you should be forced to watch that. just so you can actually understand exactly what you're going to.
It's the perfect story of resilience and grit. Doesn't matter what adversity threw, he just kept going, and that's the bit that I think it's such an amazing.
So why is the film not always running?
Because people don't understand that they need to watch it. I think as soon as you've seen it, and if you're so we are amongst friends this evening. We are amongst our tribe of people who like Disney stuff, and we want to talk about it. And therefore, I don't think anyone in the chat tonight is going to argue with us that one-man stream is an essential part of any trip.
I'm just looking.
We are in the minority. Yeah, we're in the minority, and there's an awful lot of people who go for the coasters and who go for the the turkey legs or whatever it is that they're there for, and have missed the whole understanding of why the whole thing came about. And that's okay. That's their holiday. That's their trip. I'm really proud to know that I understand it. My kids understand it. And I'm really excited to tell people about it. And I love the fact that we're in a community of people who care. So, that's okay. If you don't want to watch it, that's fine. It means there's more space for me.
Yeah.
But sometimes about having the trailers for films at the end in replacing that is that there are more spaces in Walt Disney World that they could have done that.
Yeah.
Launch Bay.
Star Wars Launch Bay. There is there's a theatre in there.
Because several times now we've been in there, and the film is not running at all. It's all just trailers for films. Well, I can see those anywhere.
I'll tell you what, the cast members who work in One Man Stream, they have been the same cast members for years and years and years.
But they are so reverential as well, though, aren't they?
Brilliant. And they know so much. So there's a chap who's in a wheelchair who is incredible to chat to.
We speak to him every time we go.
Right. And there's a lady who's of mature years who has a walker. And she's also fabulous to chat to. That genuinely, the staff there are like, the cast members they're probably like the golden cast members in terms of their knowledge, and they know so much, and they're brilliant. Because you sit there waiting for the film, and you sit there for maybe 10 minutes, just have a chat with them. Oh my goodness, they're desperate to talk to people about it. They're really passionate about what the location they're working in.
It's just and also, and probably isn't there anymore. There used to be like a treasure hunt for children.
Yeah, it's not there anymore.
And what you actually got to the end, but you'd speak to those cast members, and actually, once upon a time, there was a visitor book.
There was. You could be a citizen of Hollywood Studios.
We got to sign the visitor book. And it's just one of them really beautiful things. You have to ask. It's not out for just general consumption. I don't know if it's still there
or not.
It probably won't. It probably won't be, because it's one of them things that during COVID, people then, they don't put things out and they don't share pens and things like that anymore. But it was one of them little magical bits. It actually held, as on the walkthrough, it used to hold the kids' attention, and then you went into the film, and then actually, I give my kids a lot of credit, because even when they were younger, they got it. I think probably you're the same with Morg, Claire. I think it's, again, once Josh saw that and once Morg saw that, it's then one of the reasons why they're going to work there over the summer, because they actually understand exactly how the parks came into being.
Yeah. I just want to say, sorry, I know we're talking, but I'm going to just bring this up. Anna's been out on the piss tonight, just saying.
And it's a school night.
Hey,
I have no idea whether she has or not, but I just thought it's a good guess.
Oh,
50-50 chance.
Right.
Maybe she's back. Maybe she's just
20
back.
chance.
60-40, yeah.
Just back from the gym. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe having her nails done.
Did
or
you say the
something.
gin?
Yeah, the gin.
Yeah.
The gin.
Yeah.
What I really like about One Man Stream is that at the end they update all sort of like there's new costumes, there's new sort of from updated more recent films.
There's a big model of the witch there at the moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we saw
wow.
was it last year the Little Mermaid?
Yeah.
Sort of live action. So they had all the
I
stuff.
think they had stuff from Willow in there as well.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, they
the
did.
Disney Plus show.
Yeah.
Might be
Yeah, that's
over.
good. You get to see all the cool new stuff.
Yeah.
One, I don't know whether it's a good thing or not. I'm undecided. They have put character meet and greets at the back there,
Yeah.
and at least it's getting people in there,
Yeah, but
and
then,
hopefully they're
think
stopping
that- I
to
think-
have a look
Yeah.
and a
I
read.
think that was
and
that
I
was the
think-
trick. I think, Becca, it was a case of just trying to give other people that sort of drag into the
Reason to go.
place.
Yeah.
reason to
Yeah.
go in.
Yeah, I think that happened with some quite when they first did that. You kind of wonder. I think it was it Zootopia? I think was one of the first ones.
Yeah, it was
that
Judy Hopps, I think.
Yeah, and it was
Okay.
just when you kind of think, why on earth have they done this? But it's just again, it's trying to get kids that little bit further into the attraction. It doesn't become like the museum that it could be perceived as.
The only character meet and greets that should be in there are Oswald and Hortensia or Steamboat Willie Mickey.
Willie.
And we know they've
Yeah.
got the costume because it's in
Yeah.
Fantasmic
Yeah.
later on.
Yeah.
Put those in there, rotate
Yeah.
them round, and you will have so many, and it would be relevant to the space. That's and what a unique meet and greet. They should totally do that.
Yeah.
You can have that one on us, Disney.
Yeah.
Again,
So if they're looking for ideas for D23 later this year,
Right? Dear Josh.
You don't really wait.
Here's a hint.
Yeah.
It's better than they got last year. There you go.
there's only so many years we could have blue sky thinking.
I
Yeah.
didn't realize. I had no idea we do 45 minutes on Hollywood
Hollywood
Studios.
Studios.
Yeah.
There you
I
go.
know. Should we
I
head
didn't
over
touch
to
that,
Epcot?
Cut.
Let's head
Yes.
over there and see what
let's do it. Let's do Epcot.
Favorite
So-
part.
yeah.
Favorite part.
Justice.
Whether you want to go Skyliner, boat, or just have a wander around and walk.
Have a walk.
Skyliner.
Walk round.
A walk, nice
Have
little
a
walk.
walk.
Go wander.
Yeah.
It's a lovely walk.
We'll see you later. We'll go on the Skyliner.
Yeah.
All right. It'll
Yeah.
take just as
You
long.
It
Yeah,
takes the same
probably,
distance. Yeah.
There we are. Then we're arriving.
Okay,
at
so that means
Epcot.
we're going through International Gateway. Where should we
Yeah.
start?
Well, I'm thinking of we've just finished with John's favourite, so I'm thinking we should go to Claire's and the Voices of Liberty.
No, I thought you were
Yes.
gonna say American Adventure.
I was not
Impressions to France.
I was not going to
No.
say Impressions of France, so there is no way that is an underrated
I-
attraction unless you're Jason.
Do you know what? I had a conversation with Mr. Knapp earlier this evening where I was talking about my trip in April, and I was saying, I've got to stay up and watch Luminous. I've got to see Happy Ever After. Goodness me, I'm going to be doing long days. I'm going to be doing, park opening till close. How am I going to manage? And he said, #naps. My response was, #impressions de France. You can imagine the response I got, but
It's the best place to have a nap in
it
Epcot.
totally is. The music's nice. It makes you drift off. Little salsa thing going on.
Yeah.
Yes, Voices of Liberty, Becca.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People go and see it. Just take your time, sit on the
Oh.
floor, under in the circle, on the
Oh.
floor. That's
Yeah.
the only place to be.
Yeah.
Do it every single time.
And you always know if someone's been there before because they're already sitting on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is actually one of the most. It is one of the most hidden bits of magic that you come across, and don't just walk into that American Pavilion and assume, oh, I'm going to get to see it. You need to look at the show times to actually see when they are singing. Make a point of getting there a little bit early so you get a decent spot.
Yeah.
It is absolutely beautiful. It's one of my most favorite Epcot things of all.
And I love it
We'll get
changes
there.
up for Christmas as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they're in their Dickensian outfits. It's something different. It's really nice.
And you're unlikely to see the same show twice because they have a huge repertoire of music and songs that they sing.
Yeah.
They do. They're amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, as singers, they are utterly incredible. And not that long ago, they advertised for new members, and there was open auditions and stuff. And it was just like, can you imagine having that as your next job?
It's like your dream job, though, isn't it?
It really is. And then obviously I listened to Voctive as well, where the whole all the ex-members of Voices of Liberty and a couple of the current ones are members of Voctive, and they've done a tour. And you know what? I could literally listen to every set that they do in a whole day. I could just sit there. And then it is, I cannot go to Epcot without hearing them. It just doesn't feel right. And often I'll try and do that as the last thing on my trip before I head home, just because it's
it is it's spine tinglingly sort of just quite incredible. I'm just from the chat. Hannah's got a really good point, right? Because actually, once you actually get it, and this is probably a little bit of me, because actually I'm a massive fan of American history, and again, when you go and see One Man's Dream, that is just Walt's history. But to actually go and see how proud the Americans are of their past, in this country we don't have that same pride. I think I've said it before about the pride they have in the flag. In this country, our flag is, if you seem to be raising the flag, it's because you've got some really extreme political views. Yet in America, if you go, that whole thing about just going and watching the history of how America came into being is just amazing. And and probably now there's a lot of Americans who actually would watch it and actually say, "Oh my word, we've lost sight of where we're going." But it's probably the times we live in, isn't it?
This is really interesting, Emily, because I don't know of anyone else that I've ever met who said that it's not for them. And I find that fascinating, that it's it obviously isn't for everyone, but I've personally not met anyone. So I'm sorry that you don't.
I never thought having in the same sentence Voices, Liberty and the Jamators.
I can live without the Jamators, to be honest with you.
I was going to say, Jamators are on my list of underrated attractions at Epcot.
But I think there is something about that pavilion. It's a beautiful building, number one. The show, the film, Golden Dream is the most beautiful piece of music as well. I love that. But I do struggle. I do struggle as a British person to get through that film. No. To get through that film, either without feeling offended or that I'm a really awful person, because a lot of it is about how dreadful the British are. And I do struggle slightly because, I'm overwhelmed in terms of how patriotic our American friends are when they're in that show. And there's lots of it, it's incredible, and it clearly means so much. Whereas I'm sat there trying to shrink into my seat and not say anything in case someone hears my accent. It's a little uncomfortable if you're from the other side of the pond.
Yes.
Well, last time we went, unfortunately, the pavilion was shut completely, so no Voices of Liberty. But I will say, even if you don't do anything else, if you don't do the American Adventure or you don't do anything else, just go and sit and listen to the singing, because the singing, however you feel about what the singing is just beautiful. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Even if you just go and enjoy the voices, go for it.
Yeah.
Go on, Becca. There must be loads of other things that are underrated. Just
the
back streets of Morocco. I'm looking at you.
Oh yeah.
Yes. I was going to head over to what used to be Future World and Into the Seas and have a chat with Crash.
Oh yeah.
On TED Talk with Crash.
Yeah, dude.
I know that is such a great fun.
I haven't done it for years.
Yeah.
So
Even as an adult without children, it's great fun to go and watch and listen.
Yeah.
And it's never the same twice, because
no, Yeah.
Do you get Ben to sit on the carpet and hope he gets chosen to ask the question?
It's the other way around.
Yeah.
Who's that small friend with no hair? Oh.
I actually think just as a show, and it's just as a form of entertainment, just how sharp some of them cast members are.
Yeah.
And just the ability to, once you have a child opening their mouth and you're not quite sure
What's going on?
Yeah.
they probably have 10 questions that are probably they'll come up every single day.
Yeah.
But when the question comes up and it's like, oh my word, how do you respond to that? Because it's like, you can't press a button in a sound booth and actually get the response to that one. And it's just like that's it's a bit like Monsters Inc., isn't it? Laugh Floor.
Yeah.
Where you get that sort of thing on the go.
Turtle Talk is better.
Yes,
I think
absolutely.
the delivery of it is better.
Yeah. And the animation is brilliant as well.
Yeah.
So good. So good. I think the whole Seas Pavilion is a little bit underrated.
Yeah.
Because I can
goes on Finding Nemo and then I'll just leave through the gift shop.
Yeah.
Instead of actually taking the time to explore.
I can spend a lot of time in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can.
But the thing a lot of people miss, even with the season Nemo, is actually that queue. And when it first opened, it was queued out of the door because people wanted to see it. Now you basically go up and down, and walking through. But again, the detail that's there, even to the extent of the metal railings with the rusted elements to it and things like that. Some of the signage that's there, you have to just take your time. Don't go racing through with the thought of, oh, I'm going to sit on this ride and I'm going to just sing a few songs. It's not like that. The actual queue line itself is absolutely brilliant.
It is a song you will have stuck in your head though for the rest of the day.
Yes.
But John, you're right that people miss that you're going from shore and you finish in the water. They miss that that's the story of the queue line, and then you're in the water with Crush and Nemo, and it's brilliant.
It's very clever.
My favourite joke is the starfish at the end.
It's got to be, yeah.
Going on about, they keep singing this song. Help! Get me out.
I will admit that sometimes the Seas with Nemo and Friends of the Ride is nap time for me. Sometimes.
It's just so relaxing.
It is relaxing.
It's dark and quiet, and
you've got bored of looking for Nemo.
Yeah.
It's a great little pavilion. I like it. I prefer Stitch Live to Crush, but there you go. That's me. I'm a big fan of Stitch. The pavilion's great, isn't it? It's nice. The ride is good.
The thing that I can spend the most time in that pavilion, and I would say each time I go to Epcot, particularly if I'm with Millie because she loves it, we will spend maybe 45 minutes to an hour every time at the manatee area.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she knows those manatees by name, and she knows which is which, and she asks the cast member questions because little Joe does his spinning thing after he eats, and that's about to help that. Apparently, that's to help his digestion. Did you know that? So Millie has, she will spend a long time sitting there watching, and I'm so I'm proud of her for that she's interested. It's a great area.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
I think.
All right, where are we going next?
Should we go to the sea?
Awesome.
No, sorry. Journey
Awesome
to
Planet.
Imagination.
Awesome Planet film.
You know what? I've not actually seen Awesome Planet.
No,
I've seen the pre-Disaster Circle of Life with Timon and Pumbaa.
Oh yeah.
Awesome Planet.
Planet.
It is awesome.
It's awesome.
It really is. I was like totally dubious. I was like, this, like the waiting area, it's got carpet on the wall. What is going on?
Yeah.
By then calling it awesome, it's just sort of how
right. I thought it might be tongue in cheek.
Really?
Yeah.
It is really good. Like really good. So you sit there, it's probably like a 12-minute movie, and there are theatre effects, and it tells you a story. It really tells you about what Epcot and ecology and sustainability and all of that stuff is all about. It is brilliant, and it is pitched at the right level for kids and for adults. If you haven't seen it, do take that time to go and watch it. It's great. I don't know if anyone else has bothered watching it. I was taken in there under, against my better judgment. And
no, it's brilliant.
That person was correct. I've never told them they were correct, but they were correct.
Jason?
Maybe.
It has to be better than. It has to be better than the previous one, as Becca said.
I didn't see the previous one, so
the previous one was. I actually enjoyed that. I enjoyed it because actually I ended up taking Joe in there purely for the fact he was too small to go on soaring, and so you were forced into sitting through it, and actually it was fascinating. Even taking a young child in there to explain this is what Epcot is all about, and actually I think for him that there was a thing all about logging from Canada and how it impacts upon natural environments and things like that. And it's one of those things that he still recalls now.
Right.
And I'm thinking, well, there you go. That's proper theme park sort of edutainment, isn't it? You're getting that whole thing that kids actually remember it, and I think that for me is.
We just found it for some reason. Just found it didn't work for us. Timon and Pumbaa are great, and any show with Timon and Pumbaa in you would think would be a riot, but we just found it very heavy-handed and dull.
Yeah. Felt like I was being lectured a little bit.
Yeah. So
and another park at another attraction in the park was saying that dams are good things, and that was saying that dams are bad things, and it was just contradicting itself.
I think the important thing, Peter, it's all about the beavers.
Absolutely.
Well, as with so much in life.
Much, yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. Damn. Let's move on. Where else are we going, Rebecca?
I think we need to, because I know Peter loves it so much. But
I'm broken, Ben.
Brilliant. There you go. Wonderful. Oh, it's even better. I love it.
One of the best or underrated attractions is Living with the Land. Yes. And I know we mentioned it last week with the song at the end that isn't there anymore.
Yeah, but it's more than that, Ben. It's more than that. It's just like
as long as you don't jump off and try and grab cucumbers, you're all good.
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely.
Claire.
I think if they put the song back, it would improve it 100%, because I just found there were times you're just riding through walls, you've got nothing to look at.
Or the on-ride narration, where you used to have the cast member sitting at the front of their microphone telling you about what you were looking at. I like that.
I wonder if that was got rid of in a way, Claire, to avoid it becoming a bit like a Jungle Cruise, where cast members would have their own take on certain things.
That would go off piece.
Because you could have a great deal of fun.
You definitely could.
I think what elevates it is when you go there around Christmas, and it's all lit up Christmas lights, and it's lovely. I really like it.
If you notice when you go on it, when they have different festivals on, they'll highlight different plants, and different aspects of what they're growing to kind of show what they're using in those festivals.
Yeah, definitely.
So they link it in, and I find it quite fascinating to find out what they're actually doing and making with all of this produce that they're growing, and it's going into the foods at Epcot.
And it is one of those sort of the highlight that you can go to. What's the restaurant?
Sunshine Seasons.
Seasons and Garden Grill.
Garden Grill,
I think it's really good, but actually, there should be more signs of where this food is used around.
Yeah, absolutely,
yeah.
Be brilliant.
You've done the ride, now eat the produce.
It's also maybe a good opportunity to mention, if you want to see the reverse part of that, there is the behind the scenes tour,
There
which
is.
is which is very reasonable. But you actually, there were, well, certainly in the past, you were on stage, and you were actually watching the boats going by, and it was just so brilliant, because you just got that complete reverse part of it as you're watching the ride going past, and you were being told about all kinds of other gardening terms, and actually so many of the things that they actually should put into the actual narration of the ride, and they don't. They keep it for the tour, and I think there's a bit of but it's worth doing. I'll put it that way.
And you can get a handout at the end of the behind the seeds tour. Certainly, Millie's come away with like an A4 sheet explaining about hydroponics and how you can grow things in a gutter at home, like a piece of guttering and stuff like that. But I think Jill, you hit the nail on the head. It should the tagline should be "Sunshine Seasons, eat the ride."
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mark. Have a good day.
See
you, Mark.
Bye.
Yeah. There's loads, and I, without wanting to sound a little bit sort of daft about things, there's so much in Epcot that, again, as we found in the past, for new listeners and new viewers, we used to have a Scottish member of the team who hadn't done any of the pavilions in Epcot. And Sammy,
unless they serve chicken nuggets.
Yeah, and we're looking at Sammy, that every single one of those pavilions has got something completely amazing to go and see, if only you will open yourself up to it. And I really feel that this is where Epcot becomes that park where I think all of us have grown to love it, and yet you still see online and you still see on socials and things like that where a lot of people have gone and they say, I don't like Epcot. It just doesn't do it for me. I don't quite. And actually, you have to go and just dip in a little bit further and just let the magic come to you, but also open your eyes and just see how somebody actually designed all of this. And I think that for me is something that I actually feel we could do an entire show about just about Epcot. If you started from the very front gate and the subtle music as you're walking in, and that park loop as you're walking in, the music there is just something to actually behold. As you walk underneath or to the side of Spaceship Earth, you're absolutely absorbing it. And I've got to say, it is a park still to this day unto its own.
I am so looking forward to seeing the front part of Epcot without hoardings.
Yes, it is incredible.
Honestly. Yeah, it's honestly. Yeah, I just can't wait. I mean, I love World Showcase. I could spend my life in World Showcase, but the whole sort of front area, so much of my experiences there have just been, well, this bit's walled off and this bit's walled off. Yeah. And Stapler's not even there. So
it's going to confuse us the next time that we go through, get past Spaceship Earth and go, oh, there's not a wall.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, that's going to be good.
And at night it changes completely again because all of the ground is lit up and not in the way it used to be with the fiber optics in the pavement, but in a very different, modern, new a new way. So I'm looking forward to seeing that when I'm there in a few weeks' time. I just think there's something, like you say, John, about Epcot has so many areas that you can find if you try. So I saw somebody in the chat earlier mentioned the Shanghai exhibition, which is in the China Pavilion. After you've been through the film, or you can go in the other door, which is under the edge of the building.
I would challenge anyone to find that entrance to it, Claire, because it's so
it's hidden.
Really,
and it's fascinating that Shanghai exhibition.
It is.
There are so many bits just to walk around, even if you're just looking for unique things and chat to the cast members. That's the true hidden bit. I think in World Showcase particularly is, how many people know that you can walk around the Stave Church in Norway? You can walk inside it. You can also walk all the way around the outside of it, inside the barriers. Did you know that? I didn't know that until I'd done it. And then you can go inside. Yeah. It's not very wide, but you can do it. There's so many cool things that I just think are missed because people are doing, like we saw in the videos of thousands and thousands of people doing last weekend, which is ploughing themselves with alcohol. And, people know I'm happy to have a drink in Epcot, but not at the expense of missing all the cool stuff.
No.
Yeah.
So
I think for me as a Brit, there are two essential things to do in World Showcase. One is go into the UK Pavilion shop and look at the prices.
$20, or the $20 for a small box of Quality Street. That
and laugh hysterically. That is just
$6 for the Jammy Dodgers. No,
$6 for a Milky Bar.
And probably answer questions from curious Americans who are trying to figure out what HP sauce is.
It's heaven. Is the answer.
So that's my first
gorgeous
thing.
on your bacon butter.
The other thing is we mentioned the streets of Morocco. It's to wander through streets of Morocco, find the shop that sells fezzes. And if you see British tourists...
Is that the plural of a fez?
It's just fez, isn't it?
I think it's probably fez apostrophe, isn't it? I don't know. John, help us out with our grammar. These things matter.
I would just say fez.
Is that the plural? The sheep?
It's fezzes.
I don't know.
Find the shop.
Plural
find
is
the shop
fezzes.
Okay, there you go. So
that was a character in The Princess Bride. That's Fezzik.
With an ES ending as well, which is
Fezzes.
even
Anyway,
which is even more bizarre. Oh, good grief!
Anyway, we're talking about this.
You can learn all sorts of stuff on the Great British
Fine order of pedantry. There you go. So find the shop. Find the shop where you can buy a fez.
A fez,
or
that's probably
more than one fez, and try one on. And if you are a Brit over a certain age, you will probably say, "Just what?"
Yeah.
If you are a Brit under a certain age, you will probably say, "Fezzes are cool."
Yep.
See, I don't know the reference.
Yeah.
I don't know that reference. I know the Tommy Cooper reference. The Matt Smith reference.
Yes.
Oh.
See, you didn't know it.
I did. I worked it out. Wish there were. Hannah, you need to listen to the show that came out last week, the 15th of March show, where we talk about old things in Epcot replaced by new things in Epcot.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Do you Goofy exercise bikes?
Yes. I remember those because you cycled around World Showcase and interesting fact, not World Showcase, you cycled around Magic Kingdom. Interesting fact for people.
I like that was in Epcot.
Yeah. So people who are in the chat who know that Anna and I are good friends, we met properly met we were recording a podcast together about the Wonders of Life Pavilion for the previous iteration of a British Disney podcast called Dibcast. Anna was a presenter, and they asked for anyone who would remember the Wonders of Life Pavilion to go on the show and talk about it. And that's how Anna and I first met, because we recorded the show together. And we talked about the Goofy cycles and, the making of me and Cranium Command and all of those fun things that happened in that pavilion. But that's how Anna and I became friends. So, the Goofy cycles are really important. They were great fun. I definitely remember that.
Cool.
I'm just the thought of Goofy near an exercise bike. It's just no.
The thought of Goofy near any kind of bike. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he's now in charge of a train in Hollywood Studios.
And that's true.
There was the Goofy. What was the Goofy cartoon where he was doing like exercise and stuff?
Yes.
You know the one I mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
Where it's like it was like an instructional video
Yes,
how
they
to
got
play
several of those. I love
baseball,
those. Yeah.
play golf
I
and
love
things like
those,
that.
yeah.
They, they had
it's
those
a-
on the screens as well.
It's an absolute Disney classic, is that?
I
was
love
so
those.
good.
Yeah.
And it was like freeze frame, and then it talk about
How
it.
to exercise. Yes.
Yeah.
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 I love those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Goofy is kind of kindred spirit of mine because I can fall over invisible air. So,
Oh, well, there you are.
yeah.
Mr. Bumpy's your patron saint.
Yeah. So, yeah.
It's a little
Yeah.
pop.
Yeah.
One other thing that hasn't been mentioned at Epcot is the transformation of the golf ball, aka Spaceship Earth, at night when they put on all of the lights and the light shows.
Yes.
That is one of the biggest things I am most looking forward to for August. I've got to say, it's just
Best change they
this.
made for the
Yeah.
50th.
yeah.
It is,
And I'm glad they
absolutely
kept it.
right. Yeah. Those little lights, however long it took them to put on there one by one. And they, to me, in my head, you know those ones that you get from like the pound shop that go under your kitchen cupboards?
Yeah.
In my head, that's what they are.
Yeah.
They've got like a sticky back thing and they've literally just stuck them on. That's what's in my head. Those things are incredible, and you can see them for miles. Like you can be in Dahlia Lounge looking over towards Spaceship Earth and you can see the pattern and wow, what a thing. And so many options to modernize it, update it, change music, it's incredible. And
it's a bit of an upgrade from having just Siemens going across as an advertising.
Mike Wazowski.
Mike
Wazowski.
Yeah.
Or the big 2000 finger,
What an amazing upgrade. Really is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Amazing upgrade.
I don't know that it's underrated, though.
No, I don't think it's underrated.
I don't think it's underrated, but it's fantastic.
I think people miss it because they're rushing to get to Soarin' or they're rushing to get to Ratatouille or whatever. They perhaps don't loiter in that front area as much as they should.
And especially in the night time when everyone's waiting to go watch Luminous.
Yeah.
And it's like...
it's so quiet in that area.
And actually, if you watch Luminous from the other side of World Showcase... make sure you've got Spaceship Earth in view because it's part of the show.
Yeah.
Okay, that's an interesting tip.
That's worth knowing there.
Definitely. Watching these YouTube videos of Luminous.
I don't want to watch the YouTube videos.
I'm not watching any. I'm not watching any of them at all.
I'm not going to Epcot this year, so I need to watch it somehow.
I need to see it for myself.
You can watch it from Dahlia Lounge, or the one at Topolino's. Can't remember the name of the bar.
Yeah, Topolino's bar. From the
I don't know.
Dahlia Lounge with a trough.
Different name.
Dahlia Lounge with a trough of paprika chips and a tequila daisy. Now you're talking my language.
That's it. Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
Can I mention one place we haven't mentioned, and that is the Canada Pavilion, purely for the fact that the Victoria Garden on the right hand side,
gorgeous,
which is meant to replicate the Butch Art Garden, which is in Vancouver Island. And they do a mighty fine job of actually selling the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Sort of, and I probably always go off on one at this point because to actually have been on Vancouver Island and to actually go and see the Butch Art Garden is just the most incredible thing, and how you put something like together, but then also to actually have a little nod. When you think of how massive Canada is, to have a little nod to this tiny place on an island, which is actually an hour and a half ferry ride away from Vancouver, is quite bizarre. And it's just like it just opens your mind completely as to if you're ever bored and want somewhere different to go to on holiday, and maybe Walt Disney World is not on that list, Canada is just a different.
Every time I watch that film, I come away going, right, I've got to go to Canada.
Oh, it's amazing.
Every time.
It is. Yeah.
And I genuinely, Canada's probably the Canadian Pavilion, or Canadia, as we like to call it in our house, is probably in my top 3 pavilions.
Yeah.
In World Showcase, just because people miss it. They don't bother walking around to the back. They don't go past the rocks and the waterfall. They don't watch the movie. Watch the movie. Sing along to the song, people.
It's not, the film's not always on.
No.
It's
What
not
festival's
on when we
there.
went.
Before 11 o'clock in the morning. It's not on. But you know,
No.
Last
During
time,
Food and Wine, it's
it
not.
was.
It's-
no,
it's
because they
food-
use during food and
They
wine.
use it as use it as a stop for.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a cider stop. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Anna, thank you for that. You've now busted Claire. You performed well in
Anna
Canada.
and I
that's it.
have no shame. We sing, and I've done it with Anna and with Jason and with Zach and with Kelly and Bruce. If you go to watch the Canada film and Oh Canada comes on at the end, people, you've got to sing. You've got to sing loud and proud, right or wrong. Sing it strong. Have a go at the French. Anna knows the French, literally word for word. She's incredible. We harmonized, we sang loudly, and we didn't care if anyone was looking at us because we were we were living our best life.
And there's no video. There's no video of that. I would pay video for that.
No, you wouldn't.
That would be amazing.
It was brilliant. I love it so much.
But that's what Epcot's about. It's about losing yourself and just completely getting into that.
Yeah.
Everything, the music, the sights.
And coming away going, I've got to visit there. That's the whole point, I've got to go and visit that. I've got to go on that train journey. I've got to go and visit, the Rockies and, Lake Louise and all of that stuff. Yeah. And then you go to Japan and you're like, I need to go and visit these things. And then you go somewhere else. I'm like, oh, I've got to go and see this.
Yeah,
that's the fun.
I think it's cheaper just to book a day at Epcot and go around the world.
You're right, Ben.
I'm not so sure sometimes, Ben. Not so sure. By the time you've eaten at some booths and you've had some drinks and bought some merch and all the stuff.
Yeah. The thing that got me in the Canada pavilion was the phone boxes. So it's like, am I in the UK pavilion?
Yeah. Yeah,
big red phone boxes. Okay.
They've also changed some of the merch that used to be there. They used to have the beaver butt lip balm and stuff. They don't sell that anymore. I've spent a long time looking for it.
Wonder why? Yes,
but they do sell some really cool Moosehead lager tops and really cool.
And Molson as well.
Yeah,
and that's the other thing as well. I know we've been very critical of people who go to Epcot and they spend the time drinking, but actually the drinking opportunities as you're going round are actually second to none as well.
Anna, you're so right.
Instead of sitting by the gift shop, Disney should put travel agents at the exit of every country if they're missing.
There's a thought.
There's Becky Mencken. There's an option for you in any travel.
An Adventures by Disney agent.
You could totally do that. You could send a Kidcot stop. Come and talk to us about a trip to Canada. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, they do it well in the DVC lounge in Epcot. That there's a member services there with all the places you can go on your points. That'll be
Is it not like the Chevrolet bit when you come off test track? Who
buys a car?
Who's actually bought a car coming off test track?
I want the car that I've just made. I don't want the one that you're showing me.
No way. No way.
You could do that with
the bright green one that you see driving down the I-4.
I know the one you mean, or the one with the lobster on the top. All of this.
But if they put in a 3D printer, you could do that. You could print off the car that you designed and spend a lot of money on it.
Yeah, I think those pavilions are amazing.
They are,
and I cannot get enough of them.
No, I can't. No, and I think that's the key thing to it. And there's so much we haven't even touched upon. But also the Grand Fiesta Tour in the Mexico Pavilion is worthy of so many people don't actually know it's there, and so it's just like it becomes part of. Someone say, "Oh, did you see did you go on the Donald Duck ride in Mexico?" And people go,
"What?
I didn't realize there was a ride in there. I just thought it was a big pyramid thing."
And a lot of people don't actually realize you can go inside the giant pyramid.
Especially
the whole world in there.
It pays to be nosy.
It
Yeah.
really
There's a
does.
big sign outside advertising the Grand Fiesta tour.
Yeah,
It's
It's
so
massive.
busy, like it's spring break, and it's
Mm.
like all you can see is people.
Queuing
Everyone
to
goes
get
like-
to the tequila.
Yeah,
Mm.
Yeah.
The Grand Fiesta
Oh,
tour is awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Pretty fun.
Should it be Coco or not?
No, leave it as it is.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Three Caballeros is like
Oh,
one of the
yeah.
most incredible
Yeah.
cartoon
you can't.
movies.
You
They have
cannot
a
touch it. Yeah.
I think if they introduce more IP, I think it needs to be in newer places. It shouldn't be something to take away
Replacing.
something else.
Okay.
They've
I
got some
think
stuff as you go in.
Yeah,
Uh,
you got some
about
Coco
Coco.
reference. stuff,
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
great.
They have the
Yeah.
mariachi band as well. They
They
sometimes
do,
will
yeah.
do.
It can all be hard, you know,
Okay,
it
based
can
stuff.
work in harmony together. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
one or other.
Yeah.
Hannah's got the best tip of all. Do not climb the pyramid.
Do not climb the pyramids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh goodness, yeah.
So
Don't
Yeah.
bear thinking.
we've got 2 safety warnings tonight. Do not climb the pyramid, and don't jump off living with a land to get a cucumber.
Right.
Absolutely.
Don't touch the cucumbers.
Those
Moving
are
on.
cheaper in Walmart.
Yeah. Indeed.
That's true. Anybody have any other places in Epcot that they think are
Figment.
underrated?
Oh.
I'm sure there
It
are.
needs an update, but I don't know. It's yeah.
Yeah, Figment does need a serious update. I
I
wish I'd been able to see the original version.
Yeah, and actually, they've actually taken the whole of that pavilion apart and not replaced it with very much.
Yeah.
And when you go back, even just going back 10 years when there was a Kodak thing at the very end, and some of the posters that you could actually have created, that was quite something else. But you go back even further to the original incarnation of the ride, and it, it is still roughly the same, but they shortened it, and they basically did what probably Disney like to do. They made it a little less cumbersome on sort of putting people into queues and then not giving them the full bit, because actually it became quite a tricky thing to balance. But I love the Imagination Pavilion, and
The image
Also-
works.
also the little place upstairs that used to be, was it the
The image works with the rainbow tunnel and all the things, the interactive exhibition that you could enjoy and play with.
But there's a set of stairs that, if you're a nosy person like I am, that you can't help but just notice. And if the barrier isn't across, you can have a little wander up and have a little look. And it's all stacked seats and things like that now. But that would have been amazing. I think it was I can't remember what credit card or something you had to have.
It's now the DVC lounge,
I was
isn't
going
it?
to say, I
Yeah,
think it's the
that's
DVC
the
lounge now.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me. There you go.
Yeah, there you are.
Lucky people. Lucky
How
people.
the other half live, John.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly, yeah,
if we're
exactly.
over there at the same time,
Yeah.
we can bring
Yeah.
guests.
I think people dash through the French Pavilion. There's so much in the French Pavilion.
I
The
think
gardens outside, the actual Mooka friezes on the wall. It's just a wonderful pavilion just to stop and sit.
Yeah.
And
I think
And they also-
nowadays they head straight back to Ratatouille.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they've kind of seemed to have stopped having Aurora meet and greet there,
Yeah.
which is I'm not that sad about. I have a bit of an issue with Aurora, in so much that she often appears like she might be in drag.
Aurora.
Say it like
Yeah.
it is, Claire. I wasn't
I
expecting that.
In terms of the amount, I
was going
don't
to say
know what
she's
it
woken up
is.
after 100 years. It's,
Right, I don't know what it is about the Aurora costume and the makeup and the wig. But the people who are friends with Aurora, sometimes it doesn't, like, if you look at Belle and you look at Rapunzel and
Yeah.
Snow White,
Yeah.
I do have a bit of an issue with Aurora, I'm afraid, people.
We've
If anyone's
only
got a
met
picture
her
of Aurora,
once.
let us know.
Yeah,
We have a picture of her somewhere.
Oh boy.
she's not someone that I queue for a photo with.
We met
I
her
can
at
see-
a Christmas party once because she was
Yeah.
with her prince.
That was the first princess
Okay.
I met.
Prince
I
Philip.
can see.
Oh,
I
Yeah,
can,
she was
I can
with
see
Prince
this.
Philip
I can
and
see
Snow White
this.
was with Prince Charming. only
I can
reason
see
we went
this
to see
being
them.
something for the Wafflers Arms for the next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what we'll be able to see is if some of the actual princesses have better photoshopping skills than the real princesses.
You did their job. Well done.
Just
Well done.
saying, like,
Yeah.
But that would be
Right
quite
up to date.
entertaining.
During
That'd be
social comment. This is why
Hey,
you come.
thank you very much. There you go.
Here a week.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right, any more for any more?
I think we've.
I think we've tired out the topic.
But everyone's going to bed.
Yeah.
So they are.
Yeah.
Well, it's 10
it's
o'clock at night over here.
It's
No, we've gone
it's
long.
4 minutes to 10. We have gone
Yeah.
long. And we knew we would. And I think
We knew we would with
we
Hollywood
always
Studios
did.
and Epcot. Since we got
Yeah.
45 minutes in and we hadn't left Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
But thank you everyone for tuning in to today's show. If you're craving any more Disney magic, catch up on our previous episodes on YouTube and on your favourite podcast platforms. Don't forget to spread the word and share out the show with your fellow Disney enthusiasts. Join us on our Facebook community, The Wafflers Arms, I won't get my words out. For more Disney news and banter. You can also follow us on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Facebook, and X at GB Mickey Waffle. So there's just one thing left to say.
Take it to
Waffle
Epcot.
on. Yeah.